Welcome to the Skyler Show. I'm Skyler. Every Friday, I'm going to come out here and do what I do best. Talk. What am I going to talk about? Celebrities. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank Linda K. Interior Designs and everyone on my team who made this possible. Now let's get started with Hot Talk. Hi, we're here at Armada High School today with Don Holston, the Armada Athletic Director and Academy Director, and I'm just going to ask him some questions about what he sees in the future and stuff like that. So, how do you like your new job and being in charge of the Academy and ACE and all that?
Well, before I answer that question, I just want to say thank you for having me as your first guest on your show. That was a promise that you always made to me, and I'm glad that you were able to keep that promise.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Actually, how do I like my new job? I love my new job. I've always had athletics. I've been the athletic director. This is my 9th year as the athletic director. In the last 3 years prior to this, I was the athletic director and assistant principal. So my new challenge here as the director of the academy and in athletics, I'm finding that there's a lot more work to it, but it's something that's, I guess, it's manageable at this point. It's a lot of hours, it's a lot of hard work, but it's rewarding work. I get to work with Armada kids, which is, I consider myself very lucky to be able to do that. So, so far so good. The third day of school was today. Everything has gone pretty well so far. Knock on wood, we don't have any issues. But as of now, right now, I'm enjoying my new position.
Okay, great. So I've known you for a couple of years, and I know that you love your job with athletics and everything like that. So what would you like to see happen with athletics in the next 3 to 4 years?
Well, I think since I've been here, I think we've improved a lot of things in terms of athletics. As far as where I'd like to see it go, I'll tell you honestly, if I had to pick one thing, I would say I'd love to see participation grow. I'd like to see more kids get out and want to be a part of the athletic programs here. Right now, our numbers are fairly good in all the sports, but it would be nice to see those numbers grow. We could talk about winning and losing, and to me, it's important, but it's not truly the most important mission that we have in athletics. Over the next few years, I'd like to help our coaches grow. I would like to see our athletes grow, not just on the playing field or the courts or what have you, but as people. So, our coaches do a great job of teaching our athletes more than just plays, how to catch a ball, how to hit a ball, all those good things that you do. They do an awesome job of helping these young people become better people.
So let's go back to where you said it's not important about winning and losing. I totally agree with that.
I didn't say it wasn't important. I said it is important.
It is.
But there are some things that are equally as important.
But I don't think it's something we need to focus on all the time.
Right.
I think being a team is more important, because I've also seen, not this year, I think this year's team is great, but in a couple of years past, people haven't been a real team, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. No, I can kind of understand what you're saying. Sometimes when things aren't going well, it's easy for people to point fingers and that. We haven't had a ton of that, believe it or not.
We haven't.
Yeah, and I know that we've had in a couple of different sports we've had some rough years, but the good thing about that is that when things aren't going well, you get to see everyone's true character. And I think one of the blessings that we've had with some of the rough times in terms of winning and losing, we've been able to see some of the true character of our kids. And if I'm being honest, I feel like our kids have handled that extremely well. They've been graceful in defeat, have worked hard to get better, doing all the right things they need to do. I haven't seen a lot of team dissension. I haven't seen a lot of kids pointing fingers and saying it's your fault. I haven't seen a lot of the kids pointing at the coaches saying it's your fault, or the coaches pointing at the kids saying it's their fault. So, and that really, it illustrates the point that we were talking about winning and losing. Those are things that you can take from athletics that has nothing to do with winning and losing, and use those when you leave high school or when you stop playing, competitive athletics.
I think this year's team is doing a great job I think it's probably the best team we've had in about 2 years as far as getting along. So let's move to ACE.
Okay.
I have always looked at ACE as, you might get offended by this, but a place where we just drop kids off sometimes. So now that you're in charge of it, what would you like to see happen with it?
Okay. Well, I would respectfully disagree. It's not a place where we just drop kids off. ACE is an outstanding program that allows credit deficient students who wouldn't normally graduate under the 9 credits you can get a year at the high school. It gives them the opportunity to get more credits per year. Okay. So the kids that are sent over there, they're not bad kids. They're not our discipline issues. I mean, do some of them have discipline issues? Yeah, but that's not why we send them there. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to give them the opportunities to succeed and walk with their class. Now, do all of them take advantage of that? No. Sometimes we've had kids actually graduate early, and we've had kids that it's taken an extra year to finish. But that program is designed for those type of kids that don't succeed in a traditional classroom or fall into that trap where they're too far behind, where the high school, the amount of credits you can get at the high school isn't going to allow them to graduate on time. And that's what we look at. And we look at the most critical cases first, usually seniors, then juniors, and then we look at where they're at credit-wise. So, it saddens me that you have that vision of that it's just where we drop kids off, because it's really what it's not about. It's about us providing another service for those students who need it.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We will see you next week. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciated being on.
First up on Hot Talk, I want to talk about the Taylor Swift and Kanye controversy. I thought it was very rude and tasteless for Taylor to release her new single, Look at What You Made Me Do, on Kanye's mom's 10th anniversary of her death. I thought that was very low. I mean, how low can you get? I mean, we all know that Taylor's a snake, so it's not surprising from her. Now let's talk about the family who's managed to stay relevant for the last 10 years. Caitlyn Jenner says she hasn't spoken to Kris, Kim, or any of the Kardashian sisters since she released her book. Well, Caitlyn always thinks that everything is Kris's fault, Kim's fault. She never realizes that it's her fault. She's the one who lied to Kris for 27 years, and she just thinks it's okay. It's not okay to lie to someone and be someone who you're not. I just think that's wrong, and I don't blame Kris. I'm on her side about this. Kylie Jenner has released her new show, The Life of Kylie. Some critics say it's a 30-minute Snapchat story. I disagree. I think that her show really shows a different side of her. It doesn't have all her family in it. I mean, it will have Kris and Caitlyn in it once in a while, but you never see any of the sisters except for Kendall. I think it's a great show. You get to see the real side of her and how caring and true-hearted she is. I just think it's great. Anyway, thank you for watching The Skyler Show. I'll see you right here next Friday. Bye-bye.